Is it just me, or are like all the herbalists that you listen to and talk to and see, are they always relating it to like something spiritual? Like I notice I notice a lot of atheists and like agnostic people talking about herbalism, and they give you a lot of like good advice. And when I'm looking up a lot of these plants and learning more about things, because you can never learn enough, and when you're teaching stuff, you always want to learn more while you're teaching too, because what teacher doesn't teach himself more? So when you're learning about these things and you're learning more plants, like when you're learning about more plants and you start listening to these people talk about these plants, they start bringing up spiritual things and religious things, and they'll talk to you and claim that they're not a religious person or that they're not spiritual. They don't get into like religious topics. But when you start asking them about herbalism and stuff, they start getting very religious about it, because people I've noticed that herbalism I've noticed that herbalists will start relating a lot of their practices and a lot of the medicines that they use related to like your zodiac sign. So what some herbs are like Cancer, some herbs are Virgo, whatnot, and they work with these types of people. And yeah, sure, they're not saying it's like it's always going to be like that, because blah 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 blah, there's other factors and stuff like that, but they still relate it back to planets and stars. There's a problem with all of that theology and stuff. That starts to gatekeep people from using actual herbalism as medicine, because then people are starting to get confused and they're like, oh, well, I'm this zodiac sign and I have to use this herb, when it doesn't come down to that. It's so we can take these herbs, and with the technology that we have, we can take like thyme right here. See this thyme? So good, so awesome. We can test this and find thymol in it. And thymol is used for certain things that are in our gut that we've used over time to figure out these things. We can understand that thymol is an anti-parasitic, and there's certain parasites that we have in our body, and thymol works on certain parasites. There's all different types of organisms, good and bad, but we use these certain tools to combat certain things. Like, you use certain weapons for certain warfare. You can't just use ice. You can't just use any old weapon on any old thing. You got to use the right tool for the right job. You don't use a drill for a nail. You use a hammer for a nail. You use a drill for a screw. Okay. This is sage right here. Another example. It has its own certain oils. It does certain things inside the body. Even has alkaloids in it that can help you sleep and do different things, helps your brain, nervous system, all that stuff. There's so many different tools to use, but it's all about learning how to use those tools. And it doesn't have to do with the stars or the planets, because when you start incorporating the stars and the planets, then you're just gatekeeping all this information, and gets people so confused, when really the stars and the planets really don't have anything to do with this herbalism. The herbalism has to do with a lot of the compounds, a lot of the organicness to it, how the plant was raised, what type of issues are you dealing with your body, what type of diseases, what type of ailments, what's going on in your body, what kind of herbs can we use to counteract with this. Now, the reason why I say this is because it's so important, because it's called a practice, right? See, doctors, when they're operating or doing their thing or they're working, it's a practice. They're starting to prescribe these medicines that they think are going to work, but not for sure if they're going to work. But they know what the medicine is made of, and they know what's going on with the person, so they can take an educated guess on which medication they could suggest or prescribe to the patient that it would work for them. But in herbalism, it's like, I'm not using pharmaceutical medication. I'm using this God-given plant that I have from the ground right here, And I'm using it because that is the main compound that was originally produced in the first place. These other compounds are based off of all these natural organic plants. Like we get extreme concentrated compounds and medicines from these plants. So that's where it all originated, and that's where it started from. So when we use the actual plants, yeah, it might take a little bit longer to incorporate, but if you already start incorporating these herbs into your diet, your body will recognize them, already have them available and bio ready to use them when it needs to. Rosemary is another great antibiotic, anti-parasitic, and it does all these different things. There's just so many herbs out there that I could just do a list on, but it's not about the stars, and it's not about the planets. It's about getting familiar with these herbs, learning how to incorporate them in your diet, and into your life. I should say not just your diet, but your life, and learning how to respect the herbs, because a lot of these herbs have very strong properties. Some of them are stronger than others. Like this thymol, this can be used, you can turn this into a tincture and turn it into like a bleach alternative, because thyme is that strong. It can really, if you have too much thyme, you can mess up your gut biome, because you're going to kill everything. Instead of just the good, instead of just the bad, you can kill like everything. Oregano oil, another one, super strong. You have to be like super careful with it, because these are strong oils and they do a lot of stuff. So learning how to respect the herb and knowing your limits on it, also it gets very fine-tuned to like, how big is the person, how small is the person, are they a male, are they a female? Males and females, hormones in their bodies all work differently, so they're gonna have a lower or higher dose depending on how big they are, if they're a female or a male, because males usually have like a higher metabolism, so they're gonna burn off a lot of the stuff, faster than women are. Women have a slower metabolism, so it's just, there's a lot of factors that go into it, and the more familiar you get with it, the more you start learning about it. And it's just diving right in. It's just getting your shovel right into the dirt and just getting familiar with these herbs. Because I'll go out here and I'll take my sage that I grow, a bunch of sage out here, I'll dry it out, and then I have, sage I can use on my turkey or Thanksgiving dinner, chicken, whatnot, stuff like that. And I make my own teas. Like I have mullein growing out here wild, and that's good for like respiratory system. I have stinging nettle that is full of vitamins and calcium and all types of stuff, and I dry that out and I'll turn that into tea and have that throughout the year, even through wintertime. Spring comes, I'll do it again. Anise hyssop, that's another herb I love just harvesting, drying out. It tastes like licorice, and it adds like a very nice sweet taste to your tea, and it's something different. It's like a new flavor, I grow peppermint out here, and peppermint is great for your stomach. A lot of these that I'm mentioning right now are like less potent herbs and teas, but this is stuff that you can do like on a regular basis, and it's just good for your health, and it clears out your gut, introduces new vitamins and stuff like that. But in the process of this all, you learn the process of how to harvest, how to dry out, how to make new medicines, and then you learn how to respect the plant. Because, like I said, a lot of these plants have properties that are helpful, but they can also be taken advantage of. So you have to really know how to respect the plant. And there's just some plants you just don't want to touch. Just don't want to touch. Like deutera, jimson weed, just not a plant you want to touch. And it makes seeds. It's the apple, the one apple, poison apple or something, white trumpet or angel's trumpet or something, like jimson weed. That plant, deutera, is crazy. It is quite the medical history in herbalism. But yeah, guys, that was the video. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up and hype it down in the chat. And yeah, check out my bio if you guys want to connect with me on Discord. If you guys want to support me, check out my Etsy shop. I sell wreaths and all types of other stuff. So thank you guys for watching the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Yeah, just remember, just get into herbalism and don't let all the stars and religious stuff like gatekeep you from jumping right into it, because herbalism's awesome and it's healthy. So love you guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.